Now you might be wondering, why did the alligator consistently swim underneath the kayak in circles and didn't come up like they normally do? I want you to look at my Lowrance up here. The temperature of the water is 89.9. And no, this is not a mistake. This is exactly the temperature of the water. This lake, as you can see, is about 3 to 6 feet, and so it heats up so much that the only safe haven for them is really on the bottom where it's colder. And that's why, as I'm kayaking, I'm seeing, you know, air bubbles and everything. And so what they do is they just pop up every once in a while and take a deep breath and continue sitting on the bottom, and that's how they get through the summer. Now, if this was any other time of year, you'd see them, you know, floating up above, or if it was even colder, they'd be sitting up on the banks. But yes, it's 89.6, 0.5, 0.9, so 89, 90 degrees is pretty warm, that's for sure. Another thing they may do, and this is partly the reason why that lady tragically lost her life, if the water just gets too unbearable, they'd be sitting up on the banks. So I wouldn't be surprised, like I'm not just up on a bank sunbathing, I'm talking about, you know, in the woods and everything like that. Alligators will literally, which just boggles my mind, people never think about it. I've seen alligators walk like up to a mile away from the closest water body, just in the middle of the woods, just taking a stroll. So don't be surprised if you're walking through the woods, if you're hiking in Florida and there is no water. Hey, there's a big catfish. To see an alligator in the woods. And alligators just as proficiently climb trees, you know, to be able to sit on top of logs, certainly when they're younger. The biggest one I seen climb a tree was probably about 3.5, 4 feet. But the older ones, they'd be, you know, going into the woods, because it's, as you see by all the tree canopy over there, there's going to be a lot of shade. And here's a alligator channel. They're coming up and going into the woods just like that. And here's this juvenile great blue heron that we keep seeing. He's been doing the circle of the lake routine ever since I got here, just out of reach. Hasn't tired himself out or anything like that. He's been following me for quite some time. See what he does? Just far enough to be out of my reach, but not far enough to, you know, so he doesn't have to do this anymore. Kind of funny. I was so engulfed looking at all the stuff and things that I have completely missed a juvenile great blue heron, and he forgot that I was even there. And so we literally looked each other in the face. Unfortunately, I didn't have a camera turned on, so I'm gonna turn around and maybe he'll let me get close to him. You could see him walking there in the distance, but we were probably less than a foot from each other. He kind of looked inside my kayak. He was like, "What's up, dude?" So he hasn't gone anywhere yet. Let's see if he'll gift us with not running away. He's hunting fish over there. That's his little turf. Alright, well, we're gonna let him be. He's a good boy. And this area is so deceptively bigger than it actually to what you think it is. It is just big. I've been out here for a while, looking at alligators circle and things. Temperature of the water went up to 91.4, 91.5. This is like a bathtub. Crazy. It's an alligator swimming underneath of me. They really don't know what to do with themselves. I've been seeing them pop their noses every once in a while, but it is tough. It is tough for them. Wouldn't be surprised if a few of them are in that little nook. It's nice and shady over there. Yeah, alligators are cold-blooded animals, so they highly depend on their environment. And if the temperature of the water is high, like it is right now, 91.6, it is tough on them. That's for sure. The wind has picked up somewhat. The clouds are inching ever so closely. I looked at the radar, it doesn't look too bad. I still have a little bit of time, but the problem is, once you're out here in the middle of nowhere, there's just logistically, you have to get back to where you have to be, and that will take me at least an hour that I think about. Plus you have to load up the kayak and you have to, disembark on the journey home. So by the time all of that happens, there's going to be a tropical downpour. But I'm also stubborn, because I didn't come all this way for nothing. Trying to explore this area so I don't... Oh, you can see bubbles again. They're underneath. And the funny thing is the bugs are attracted to the bubbles, so they're swarming right after them, hoping to find something. But yeah, to get out to this corner, I'd physically have to spend a lot of time traveling. So I'm trying to maximize what I can out of this trip. I'll be back out here tomorrow, launching from a different place. Just trying to save myself a little bit of extra distance traveled. Before the end of summer, I'll definitely be back here a couple more times to soak it in a little bit. So we're crossing into somewhat of a, oh my god, territory. the temperature of the water have gone up to 92.6, and we're talking about surface because my sensor is sitting underneath the kayak, so like the top at least foot or so of the water column is 92.6 degrees. The weather is eerily quiet. It's almost I don't know how to describe it. It's quiet before the storm, as they say. And there is a storm, I keep talking about it. There it is. And it may look so innocuous now, it's like, oh, what's the big deal kind of thing. When it rains, it pours. Yesterday, in the span of about hour and a half, my house received 3 inches of rain. So, yeah, there's that. It's, you know, that time of year. So nothing to be surprised about. But yes, you have to be vigilant of it, that's for sure. And when you're in the midst of it, as I was in one of my previous videos, it gets tough. It gets tough, that's for sure. The wind picks up. It's not uncommon for us to have, 40-50 mile an hour winds. Oh, there's the brown heron. Yeah, 40-50 mile an hour wind gusts, easy during thunderstorms like that. And as a matter of fact, the day before yesterday, it rained so hard that it actually hailed. You'd never think of Florida having hail, but believe it or not, it is hot and it hails. You'd think that for formation of the hail, you need cold weather. This one up here is the only one with a bright idea of not to do anything. Why waste your energy flying away? You could just sit and pretend like you're not there. Because the other two, they said, having none of that. So we are inching, however, closer to that weird connection. Which means that today I've technically reduced the number of trips out here required to do the initial filming. The thing is, I am so far away from the dock that to go back the other way, and plus I'd have to walk and park the truck and leave the kayak and the whole thing. Or I could just walk the kayak through all this jungle like I did on the way here. So have to think about that a little bit. The two cormorants that There they are. The ones that flew away. So believe it or not, the return trip wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I guess I learned from some of my mistakes of dealing with it the first time around. There's just enough water to kind of push yourself with a pole, which is exactly the reason why I'd suggest all of you guys, whether you fish or don't fish, just to have a stakeout pole thing. Don't have to pay 80-90 bucks. This is what you call a typical garden stick thing that you could buy at Lowe's for like $5, and it's 8 feet long. 8 feet long, $5. It's made out of like a fiberglass with aluminum. Not a whole fiberglass, not like a professional made $80 one, but alligator over there. But this will get you through just as much. And you know, I've tried the PVC pipe before with a wooden dowel on the inside, and I found through time that it was a little bit on the heavy side. So it's just easier to use something like this. For $5, you just can't go wrong. 8 feet long, just beautiful. You can just push yourself through places like that. Don't have to use your paddle. I guess you could if you really wanted to, but there's now the alligator. Oh. All around me, aren't you guys? The temperature is 93.1, 93.0 off the water, so they're really suffering at the moment. Me, on the other hand, not so much. I'm covering up my feet with my hat for time being, and because I have a bimini, I could do that. Hide my head, but it is toasty, and thankfully I am getting closer and closer to the exit, which is over that way somewhere. So we just have to, oh, there's the alligator again. So we just have a couple of extra places to go, and mosey over back. Boom. There it is. He's on the young side too. You can see that he is more brownish than dark. Juveniles typically are more brown. Here goes the guy. I'm guessing that's a girl, because I could hear the male growling in the background. Just like that, disappears. The male started grunting once I got closer to that little corner. And as a YouTuber that I like to follow, Mr. Viper Keeper, often says never press a bad position. Oh, you could hear him. Hear that? It's crawling off in the back somewhere. I'm moving further away from you, don't hear it as much. Well, I see the ramp over there. The temperature just keeps going up. Right now it's 94.2. There you go, there's Florida for you. So there's that. So my goal is to load up and mosey over home. Thank you for riding along, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. So we are back to the same location, but not without massive fail once again. I managed to forget to reel in my anchor line, and on top of it I managed to forget my sunglasses. So for that I am twice embarrassed. And because I'm stubborn, I'm really not. Yeah. Thankfully the sun is mostly obscured by bimini. It doesn't shine in my eyes. So and also a third fail from yesterday. If you notice on the front of my kayak there's a camera, and yesterday because I forgot the tripod, I mounted the darn thing facing forward, and everything was fine and dandy, except that there was a smudge on the video, and I've lost about half of my otherwise perfectly fine recording because of the sun lotion that was on the camera lens. So in any event, yeah, I'm just gonna go back and re-film this probably on a separate trip. No biggie, we'll get over it. So I am back to the same place, but not without a massive fail. So far I have failed 3 times. It just seems to be one of those weeks, I suppose. So I forgot that my anchor line was still attached to the shore, which I found myself embarrassingly not being able to leave further than my rope. Forgot my sunglasses, and then on top of it I also forgot my do-it-yourself leg cover that you see over here. I've attached some pad eyes to the side of the kayak and used the old curtain that has been laying around forever that I haven't used with a couple of bungee cords. So now that I have all of this and my sunglasses and everything else is operational, I am going to set sail. Unfortunately, half of the footage from yesterday didn't turn out at all. That was a major faux pas on my end. More specifically, I just applied sunscreen, and a smudge of it ended up on the lens, ruining half of the footage. Thankfully, for me, only the half when I was coming back from that second lake, and only until I went to that crossing. So another way I'll be able to launch from here next time, probably not on this trip, but definitely next trip, and just double back and film that a little bit. And also, as a side note, I decided to ditch my old life jacket. Always wear your PFD, and I got exactly the same one, except about 6 or 7 years younger. Same color and everything. The other one started looking white. Off in the distance we have somewhat of a rare sight. There's a great blue heron munching on a snake. And we're gonna see exactly how much he trusts me. I know I can't get close to the guy. Gotta try and zoom in. Come on, where did it go? There you are. Look at that. The snake is still alive, as you can see, trying to put up a fight. And this guy doesn't really want to let it go either. He is oh my, the pointy end of the snake is actually in his throat, so they go right for the head. So the piece that you see wobbling and flipping and flopping is actually the tail. The pointy end is somewhere being pushed by the wind. And with all that commotion, there's the, I don't know if you could see it, but there's a pair of eyes that are poking out of the water. That's an alligator, baby alligator, checking out what's the dealio. Was that yummy? Ugh. Yeah. Snake got stuck in his throat. Still wiggling and everything. That is really bizarre. He just spat out the entire snake and just swallowed it whole again. You guys see that? That is so odd. And there you go, the great, oh, there he goes. Beautiful bird, beautiful. Well, thank you for the show, Mr. Bird. All right. The day is off to a good start. After all the forgetful things. Alright.